The council meeting will now come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
City of Romulus City Council regular meeting for Monday, May 12th, 2014. The roll will show that all members are present with the exception of Councilwoman Roscoe.
She's excused.
So noted. Mr. Chair and Council, it is necessary to amend tonight's agenda by adding item number 6A6. It's a first reading for the city municipal fee schedule. The amended agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda, 2 minutes, 3 petitioner, 4 chairperson's report, 5 mayor's report, 6A clerk's report, 6B treasurer's report, 7 public comment, 8 unfinished business, 9 new business, 10 communication, 11 is warrant 14-09, and number 12, adjournment. And a motion would be in order to accept the amended agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
The motion by Ms. Makowski, supported by Mr. Kraut, for approval of the amended agenda as presented. Ms. Makowski.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Ms. Choate.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Agenda approved.
2A for approval are the minutes from the regular council meeting held May 5th, 2014.
So move for May 5th, 2014.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Abdo, for the approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting held May 5th, 2014. Any discussion? Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Ms. Makowski.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Choate.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
2B for approval are the minutes from the special meeting, which are study sessions, held on Monday, May 5th, 2014. Both of those study sessions, one was for the city fee schedule, and the second study session was for medical marijuana.
So moved. Support. Go ahead, Linda.
Motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Makowski, for the approval of the minutes from the special meeting study session held on Monday, May the 5th, 2014, for the city fee schedule and medical marijuana. Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Ms. Makowski.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Choate.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
2C, approval of the minutes from the public hearing held on May 5th, 2014, at 6:30 p.m., and this was the proposed 2014-15 city budget.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Choate, for the approval of the minutes from the public hearing held on May 5th, 2014, proposed 2014-15 city budget. Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Ms. Choate.
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Ms. Makowski.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
There are no petitioners on the agenda this evening. Number 4 is the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Earlier today at 6:30, we had a study session for the city fee schedule. And I'd like at this time, if I may, to bring up Ms. Maurice Franklin.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Okay, I'm Kyrie Franklin. I stay at 31949 Beverly Road in Romulus, Michigan. I represent Romulus Middle School, as well as I represent Unique Youth, which I am also the head of. Today I'm here to talk to you about the fundraiser we are putting on at Romulus High School called The Unique Not a Bully on May 23rd. Red carpet starts at 6:30 p.m. Show starts at 7:10 p.m. This is our second year putting on the show. We had over 250 people show up and over 50 students that participated last year. And this year we have almost 70 students this year. And And this year, a t-shirt contest where students had to design the shirt around anti-bullying students, and the winner has been picked, and we are asking for donations to make sure all students that are involved in the show receives a shirt which are being printed up now by our company, Unique Collection. For everybody that doesn't know what Unique stands for, it's spelled UNEEK, and it stands for Unified National Values by Encouraging Education Knowledge. Hopefully we see you there, May 23rd at 6:30 p.m. at Romulus High School. Thank you for your time and support. If you have any questions, contact the school or my dad, Mark Spencer.
Thank you. It's a really nice fundraiser. I attended one year, and they really have some nice talent in Romulus. They really put on a nice show also. Next I have, at every council meeting, when we have like a household hazardous waste collection, I try to mention in the month that is coming in and some of the things that they'll be collecting. I won't name them all, I'll just name a few. This is from Wayne County Department of Public Services. They accepting household paint, stains, dyes, floor wax, floor care products, carpet cleaners, furniture polish, bathroom cleaners, stain removers, solvents, nail polish, glue, fertilizer, lawn and garden chemicals, antifreeze, motor oil, gasoline, automobile batteries and dry cell batteries, fire extinguishers, smoke detectors, and cell phones, computers. And if you have any questions, I'm gonna give you a number that you can call. It's area code 734-326-3936. Again, that number is area code 734-326-3936. With that, that concludes the chairman's report.
Motion to approve the chairperson's report.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Choke, supported by Mr. Wadsworth to accept the chairperson's report. Ms. Choke?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Report accepted. Thank you.
Number 5 is the mayor's report.
Good evening, council, clerk, and audience. Tonight under my report, the quote I brought is one from Ralph Waldo Emerson that goes as this: "Men are what their mothers make them." And yesterday was Mother's Day, and it's a big holiday. You know, for myself personally, I don't have my mother around anymore, or my mother-in-law, but I wanted to give a shout out to my wife, who's an awesome mother to our kids and does a great job, and to all those mothers who are either biological mothers or just motherly influences to people in the world. So keep that in mind, and happy Mother's Day to all those that fall in those categories. On another note, I wanted to, today, because it happens to fall on this particular day, wanted to wish Tim Keys a happy birthday. Tim, who's been a great re-addition to the team here in Romulus, does a great job, and we appreciate him being here. So happy birthday, Tim. And here he is on his birthday at a meeting, so that shows his dedication. Couple other things, just positive. You recall, as a council and as a public, we had a family in our community, the Roach family, who this kind of is the ultimate kind of acts of random kindness that just continue to keep giving. We had Doug Roach, who passed, I believe it was January of 13. Council at the time did a resolution, sent it to him. The family sent, if you recall, $5,000 to Goodfellows, made a donation. The gentleman was mentioned to the Pumpkin Festival Committee, who featured him in their booklet. They were so tickled by that and the people that were involved in that they also sent $5,000 to the historical for the birdhouse. Well, it doesn't stop, and I got to thank Elsie Russell, who's been our contact person, who went to school with Jarman Roach. But the Roach family had contacted the city, and they wanted to do something else. So we just this week received $3,000 for the Romulus Arts Council that'll go towards scholarships. And along with that, they sent me, and I'd like to find a place and make sure we feature this when we do our veterans display, but this is a picture of Captain Douglas Charles Roach, U.S. Air Force Thunderbird Aerial Drill Team Member 6, son of Leo and Eva Roach, lived from 1942 to 2013. This was when he was a captain. He actually continued to climb the ranks, but amazing story. They sent a nice frame photo and gave to the Arts Council, and we can't thank them enough. I mean, people who, actually the family still now is residing in California, but their heart is still here in Romulus. And I just wanted to share that with you, and it's a great story. You know, keep doing the right thing, and good things happen is my theme. So thanks to the Roach Family Trust for that. Something else that I wanted to bring up, and I was not that familiar with this particular holiday, but in October 1st of 1962, Congress had adopted, at the time it was called a Peace Officers Memorial Day. And I had not been in tune with that particular designation of that holiday. What had happened since then is actually they had referred to it as a weekly celebration. So today it's kind of referred to as Law Enforcement Appreciation Week. It goes on throughout the week. The whole intent was that May 15th was actually a day that residents and businesses could then put their flag at half-mast to honor law enforcement officials. So I thought that was a worthy cause to bring to council. And what I would like to ask council, if you would you be willing to pass a resolution recognizing our local law enforcement officers so that during this week we can officially show our appreciation?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Mr. Kraut, for resolution for our local officers. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you very much for that. Last item, as you know, I know we had the girls' basketball team in, Mr. Chairman, and they presented us with a basketball, and at the time they set a date of May the 9th for a challenge game. Even though I was not here, I was actually on a trip in the UP. I heard all the way up in the Upper Peninsula that John Barden hit a three-pointer in that game, and did something about a behind-the-back pass. Is that correct?
Right.
Is that right? All right. I want to see the video of that.
Right. I
But,
think they got it on tape too, yeah.
But no, I thought it was a good cause. And if you recall, we joke about it, but that was a game to help the family the twins that lost their father. So they came here in celebration, but here they wanted to do something for the family. I thought it was nice, and I would have been there if I could have. But thanks, John, for being there representing the city and shooting the lights out.
Thank you.
With that, I have some action items under my report tonight, if I could. First one up is 5A. What you have before you, council, are two different requests. The first is to authorize of the 2014 Romulus fireworks and concur with the recommendation of Fire Chief Dave Allison for the Romulus Rotary application in the state of Michigan for this event.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Ms. Abdo.
Yes, I'll make that motion to approve, or to authorize approval of the 2014 Romulus fireworks and concur with the recommendation of Fire Chief David Allison for a Romulus Rotary application to the state of Michigan for the event.
Support.
I'd also, we'll wait to that one's done, and I'll make the second one.
Motion by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, to authorize approval of the 2014 Romulus fireworks and concur with the recommendation of Fire Chief David Allison for Romulus Rotary application to the state of Michigan for the event. Any discussion? Roll call vote. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
I'll also make a motion to authorize a no-fee permit for the 2014 Romulus fireworks on the city property south of Ecorse Road. No-fee permits for 2 food trailers on the school property, and approval of the temporary closure of Oscar Road from Wick to Tyler when the fireworks are complete. Support.
Motion by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Makowski, to authorize a no-fee permit for the 2014 Romulus fireworks in the city of property south of Ecorse Road. No fee permit for 2 food trailers on the school property, and approval of the temporary closure of Osga Road from Wick to Tyler when the fireworks are completed. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
If I could on that one, just a comment, I wanted to give out a big shout out to the Rotary for your willingness to take this project on. They allow Lee Steele to donate to the Rotary Foundation. They help with a lot of other folks to make that a success. I'd also like to thank Lee Steele. Lee Steele, who for the second year in a row has donated $10,000 towards the cost of those fireworks. And we really appreciate them not just being a corporate resident, but being a good resident as well. So thank you for that, council. Next up, for item 5B, what you have before you is a request to extend bid 04/05-26, and that's for the Merriman Road 2014 maintenance season, and that's for W.H. Cannon, the amount of $45,500. If you recall, that was a special assessment to keep that area up. That's paid for by the folks in that district.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, for the Merriman Road Maintenance Program with the WH in the amount of $45,500.
Support. But I have a question also.
Motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Choate, to extend bid 04/05-26 for the Merriman Road 2014 maintenance season through W.H. Cannon in the amount of $45,500. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Ms. Choate?
Maybe Mr. Keys can answer this. In that area by the hotels, there's water keeps running in the street. It's been there running for years.
That, we believe, is actually an underground, should we call it a stream? It's going into the AT&T manhole. You're talking about the one right in front of, near the Merriman Grill?
Yes.
Yes. We've been trying to get AT&T to rectify that situation. What's happening is the manhole is filling with water, and every time the lid of the manhole gets hit, water pops out. So, yes, we're aware of it, trying to get them to take care of it. We're trying to get the county to make them take care of it. It's a county road.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Keith.
You're right, it has been going on for years.
I have a question.
Yes, Ms. Abdo?
Yes, what does this maintenance include on Merriman Road?
It is grass cutting, it is trash pickup, it is energizing the sprinkler systems, dewatering them and blowing them out in the fall. It is using pesticides, insecticides, and herbicides to kill the weeds and bugs. It's trimming the trees as necessary, planting flowers.
Where does this extend on Merriman Road?
This is from, so this
94
is,
to Leonardo's, basically.
yeah,
Pardon?
from out in front of Leonardo's all the way down to the highway, and then it actually extends a little bit down along Smith Road in front of the hotels, and a little bit down Flynn Drive.
Does it go on Flynn? Okay.
Just a little bit, just past where that island is. They cut down probably 200 or 300 feet.
Was this the lowest bid that was accepted?
Yes,
The lowest bid that was put in?
yes.
And are these the
Significantly
people?
lower than the last, yes.
Oh, are these, is this a different company from who's been doing it?
No.
No.
WH Cannon
Extended
is a
for-
local Romulus company, and they've been doing this for the last 9 years.
They're a local company?
Yes,
And kept their price.
and kept the
At
price.
that-
Yeah, the price has not changed in 9 years.
It's good to me. Let's keep them.
Okay. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next up is 5C, and what you have before you is a request to authorize disposal of fire engines 321 and 311 on the Michigan Intergovernmental Trade Network virtual auction site at a cost of $6 per vehicle.
So moved.
Support, and I have a question.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, to authorize the disposal of the fire engines 321 and 311 on the Michigan Intergovernmental Trade Network virtual auction site at a cost of $6 per vehicle. Any discussion? Mr. Wadsworth?
Question, just, I don't know if I should go to the administration or either the chief or deputy chief, but first of all, this is positive to get rid of all this equipment. It's been taking up spaces, and there'll be I hope, some type of a financial gain. But what happens to these vehicles? They're put up for bid, and then we get to recoup some of this money if they're bought?
Come up and he's been involved in the whole process,
No.
which is a good, it is a
Like
good
we're
thing.
giving them away for $6.
No.
No, we're not, I know.
Correct. The fee for the Midden website or the Midden auction site is $6 for us to list it on that particular site.
Okay.
And then we can establish what the minimum bid is.
Also,
We can
we're
set a
gonna control
reserve.
it. We're going, very good.
That money will come back to us. There's a 5% buyer's fee that's passed on to the purchaser, and then they're responsible for picking the equipment up, towing it, flatbedding it, however they choose to get it out of the DPW yard.
If by chance that we get stuck with one of those, what would we do? I mean, I always thought about putting one in the, historical park, but then you gotta worry about vandalism and they steal the wheels off of it, but I mean,
If we're unable to sell it on the Midden site for whatever the reserve is, then we'll look at it as far as scrap value goes. We'll work with DPW for
Fine.
scrap value. And we did look at, we sat down and had a conversation with Mr. McCrate on putting the old 302 squirt in the historical
I
park.
thought about that myself.
And
right.
after we evaluated that with the glass and all the maintenance and everything on it and possible damage and graffiti and stuff, we decided against it. But as we get to that vehicle, there's some explanation with that vehicle also that we're trying to get it into a historical museum.
Okay, fine, very good. I think it's very positive.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Crowe.
Thanks, Kevin.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next up is item 5D. What you have before you is a request to authorize disposal of the Romulus Fire Department. It's a 2006 Dodge Command Center through a third-party vendor, Emergency Vehicles Plus. Sale of the vehicle would be at no cost to the city. And by the way, if you remember, we got this command post, there was some equipment that was outdated on it. We also have access to 2 different command posts through our mutual aid, which I personally saw at the airport.
So
Mr. Chair,
moved.
if
Go ahead.
I support you.
Motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Mr. Makowski, to authorize the disposal of the Romulus Fire Department 2006 Dodge Command Center through a third-party vendor, Emergency Vehicle Plus. Sale of the vehicle will be at no cost to the city. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. What you have up next is 5E, and we have a request to authorize disposal of fire engine 302, either the following historical preservation organizations, Engine House Number 5, Museum of Michigan Firehouse Museums and Education Center. Should the historical auction not be successful, the vehicle will be sold on that same Michigan Intergovernment Trade Network virtual auction site, again, for the same $6 per vehicle charge. And this is the one that Kevin was also referring to.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Abdo, supported by Ms. Choate, to authorize the disposal of engine 302 through either of the following historical preservations organizations: Engine House Number 5 Museum or Michigan Firehouse Museum and Educational Center. Should the historical auction not be successful, the vehicle should be sold on the Michigan Intergovernmental Trade Network virtual auction site at a cost of $6 per vehicle. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next up is 5E. What you have is a request to authorize disposal of outdated and obsolete radio equipment on that same Michigan International Trade Network auction site. The minimum bid of $7 per handset or sales through a third-party vendor should they fail to sell on that site.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Choate?
I'd like to make that motion, that we authorize disposal of the outdated and obsolete radio equipment on the Michigan Intergovernmental Trade Network visual auction site with a minimum unit bid of $7 per handset or sales through a third-party vendor should they fail to sell on the site.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Choate, supported by Mr. Kraut, to authorize the disposal of outdated and obsolete radio equipment on the Michigan Intergovernmental Trade Network virtual auction site with a minimum per unit bid of $7 per handset or sales through a third-party vendor should they fail to sell on the site. Mr. Kraut, Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next up is 5G. What you have before you, if you recall from our prior two study sessions and public hearing with the budget, this is a request to actually adopt the General Appropriations Act for fiscal year 2014 and 15 as prepared by the Finance Department and submitted by myself.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yes, Ms. Makowski?
move that we adopt the General Appropriations Act for fiscal year 2014, 2015 as prepared by the Finance Department and submitted by Mayor Burcroft.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Choate, to adopt the General Appropriation Act for fiscal year 2014/15 as prepared by the Finance Department and submitted by Mayor Brokaw. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Last item up is 5H, and what you have before you is a request to change our representative for the Vantage Port. So what we have is there's two different motions. The first is to approve the appointment of Tim Keys to serve as the city's alternate on the Vantage Port Corporation Board for a term of 4 years.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Choate?
I make the motion that we appoint Tim Keys to serve as the city's alternate on the Vantage Port Corporation Board for a term of 4 years.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Choate, supported by Ms. Makowski, to approve the appointment of Tim Keys to serve as the city alternate on the Vantage Port Corporation Board for a term of 4 years. Any discussion? I'd like to say it's a very good person that we chose for that board, and Mr. Keys, with his experience. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. And the second one, as with that, we have a one spot on the executive board, and I have requests to approve the appointment of Tim Keys also to serve as the city's alternate on the Executive Vantage Port Board, and that term is 3 years.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Choate?
I make the motion that we also appoint Tim Keys to serve as the city's alternate on the Executive Vantage Port Board for a
Support.
term of 3 years.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Choate, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, to approve the appointment of Tim Keys to serve as the city alternate on the Executive Vantage Port Board for a term of 3 years. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. That concludes my report.
Thank you.
6A is the clerk's report. And before I begin my report, I'd also like to wish Mr. Keys a happy birthday
He's
as he
leaving
walks
early.
out the door.
We let him have the rest of the day off.
Okay, great. He has left the building.
That was very generous of us.
Under 6A1, for second reading and final adoption is Budget Amendment 1314-16, General Fund in the amount of $20,400. This amendment was introduced at the council meeting of May 5th, 2014, and this is to reallocate funds for the changes in healthcare coverages during the budget year.
So move for second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 13/14-16, the general fund to cover health care.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Mr. Abdo, for second reading and final adoption of the Budget Amendment 13/14-16, General Fund. Roll call vote, Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6A2, for second reading and final adoption is Budget Amendment 1314-17, General Fund, in the amount of $133,000. This was introduced at the council meeting of May 5th, 2014. Funds earmarked for the opening of Elmer Johnson Park.
So moved for the second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 13/14-17 for the general fund in the
Support.
amount of $133,000.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Makowski, supported by Mr. Kraut, for the second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 13/14-17 General Fund for $133,000. Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut,
Yes.
Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6A3 for second reading and final adoption is the amended zoning ordinance 1.216. This was submitted introduced at the May 5th council meeting. This is to rezone 6.24 acres from M1, a light industrial district, to M2, a general industrial district. This is located at 11651 Hannon Road.
So moved for second reading and final adoption of the amended zoning ordinance 1.216.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Abdo, for second reading and final adoption of amended zoning ordinance 1.216. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo? Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6A4, City Treasurer Stacy Page is requesting a study session to discuss policies and procedures. This request is it's a one-hour study session for Tuesday, May 27th, 2014, at 6:30 PM.
So move for May 27th, 6:30.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Abdo, for the study session requested from our City Treasurer Stacy Page to discuss policies and procedures. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6A5, this is a request for a study session to discuss medical marijuana upon the direction of the Mayor Pro Tem, John Barton, from the May 5th, 2014 council meeting. We're requesting a half-an-hour study session for Tuesday, May 27th, again, to discuss the medical marijuana. This would be for 6:00 PM.
So moved to schedule a study session to discuss the medical marijuana ordinance on 5/27 at 6 PM.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Abdo, for the study session request to discuss medical marijuana on Tuesday, May the 27th, 2014, at 6:00. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6A6, and this is the item that was added to tonight's agenda. And for first reading is the proposed city municipal fee schedule.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Abdo.
I'll make a motion to accept the city municipal fee schedule.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for the fee schedule. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth? Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. Before I close out my report, I have just a small announcement. The clerk's office received today from the Wayne County DPS Environmental Services Group a draft of the 2014 Downriver Sewage Disposal System SRF project plan, and the instructions are to make this document available to the public for review. There is a public meeting scheduled for June the 11th, 2014, at 7:00 PM at the Wyandotte Council Chambers, which is located in Wyandotte City Hall Building, at 3200 Biddle Avenue. And again, this document is available in the clerk's office for public review. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes the clerk's report. The city treasurer asked that she be excused this evening. She is preparing to leave for a conference. She'll be at a conference all week. So that's why she is not here this evening.
Okay.
Number 7 is public comment, and this is a portion of our meeting where those in the audience can address council with your comments. If you would like to address council, raise your hand after you've been acknowledged. Approach the podium, and we ask that you state your name and that you please limit your comments to 3 minutes. We do not have any written requests this evening.
Okay. Mr. Clark in the audience?
City Council and Mayor, I just have a couple of questions. I hear all this money coming out of the general fund. Where does the money come from to get into the general fund?
Mr. Mayor.
What money are you referring to?
Well, everybody says all this money being spent is coming out of the general fund.
Okay.
Where does the money come from that goes into the general fund?
Primarily, it would be property tax, fines, and forfeitures. It makes up a big part of it.
Okay. If I'm not mistaken, back when the recreation center was being promoted and everything, Mr. Keys and our last mayor, Lambert, said that this is not going to cost the city taxpayers one thin dime. And all of a sudden, I see in the warrants tonight, $176,000 transferred to the recreation center. Now, that comes out of the general fund. That's taxpayer money. What happened? Why are we funding the rec center when we weren't supposed to?
There have been a couple that were passed council level budget amendments, so you didn't hear me say that. We have funded some we've made some budget transfers to do that. I can tell you that moving forward, and we just had a couple good sessions with council on study sessions on the budget. Moving forward, that's something that TIF is going to be, my direction was to have them do on their own, not to have those surprises or budget amendments, I should say, come to council. So, but yes, those did happen.
Yeah, it's just weird, though. The money wasn't supposed to be paid out of the general fund, and all of a sudden it's going over there.
Are there any other comments in the audience? Okay, we will close out that part.
Number 8 is unfinished business. Number 9 is new business.
Mr. Barton,
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth?
what I'm about to talk about really isn't our responsibility, but for the last couple weeks, the cable department has been playing a tape of the Charlie Lau Memorial Park at the high school swearing in. And first of all, I got to thank Dennis and Roger from the cable department and probably Les Casca downstairs, because you guys found a tape that really brought back some history. And if, I don't know if you folks have seen the tape or not, but it played over and over, and I got to look at myself with dark hair, so it was an excellent tape. But, I mean, some of the people that really were responsible for the town are in there. Mayor McAnally, Mary Ann Banks was there, John Lukatz was there, Ron Hobson was there. But the point being, this was something that was done for history, and I happened to be at a softball game at the school on Friday for my granddaughter that plays there, and some people pointed out to me, why isn't the sign on the scoreboard? And I don't know where to take this or where to go with this, but that's why I brought it. It's supposed to be history. Tonight we talked about the Roach family, and we would hope in 30 years from now that this document is still standing somewhere. It's part of history.
Great point, Mr. Wadger. I totally agree. I watched the replay, which again, it was touching. There are a lot of people that are no longer with us that had a lot to do with that. The Lau family, the White Sox, a lot of people that were in the audience that day. My dad was on the committee that worked on that.
I was sitting here when it happened.
I can tell you that one thing that I plan to offer, it's a school ball field. I know that they move ball fields. What I was going to offer to the schools, if we were to make the sign, would they put it up?
I would hope
because
so.
I think it means a lot. There was also not just a sign on the scoreboard. There used to be a sign at Wayne Road that said Charles Lau Memorial Field.
I hadn't thought about that, but Mayor, you're right.
I would like to offer to the schools, we'd be happy through our sign department to make those appropriate signs, and if they'd be willing to reinstall those, because that's history that we need to continue. And there were a lot of resolutions and action that was taken that day to make that a part of history, and I think we should totally respect that.
And, we are here because of history, and when people make history, they expect that it will stay. And it's unfortunate that when people come after something is done, that someone takes it on their own, maybe, maybe it fell off and was never put back up. I don't know, but I looked at the tape and it was, God, it brought back a lot of memories. I see Barry Bowman on there that actually was instrumental in getting Ernie Harwell along with Dennis also. And I compliment Roger. Claims he found the tape. Yeah, I don't know where, but you found it, and I compliment you on that. And it was an excellent piece. And you looked on there, and those are the people that 30 years ago that kept this town going. I was just a junior councilman. I was just sitting in the crowd with my black hair. I love that part of the tape. But, the point being, I think that we should make some effort. Maybe we can talk with the school board and have it put back up.
I was going to suggest, Councilwoman Abdo, can you help us with that at the schools? Maybe let them know.
got any friends at the school?
I'll meet with the superintendent.
I know you're right there, and I would love to do whatever we do to recreate maybe a better, sign for both the scoreboard and Wayne Road that we could work with, and I totally agree. Love to get that back out there. We used to have people that would actually make comment because they didn't realize Romulus was Charles Lau Field until they saw those signs and they went, wow.
Remember, we
So,
used to have one right at the entrance there.
Yes.
I don't know
So,
whatever happened to it.
if you-
I'll write it down.
Let's try to work with us, and
Okay.
we'll be happy to try to get that
This
in
is
place.
part of history. Okay.
Plus,
There's a bowl-a-thon Friday night at Bowling for the animal shelter. Thank you.
on that film, also at that time, there was a good cable company that filmed that. Barton Cablevision. We were.
Okay, call Margie.
Okay, thank you.
If there's no more new, I think that we were on unfinished business. We're now on new business. And if I can, Mr. Chair, just
Yes,
would
Ms. Cook.
like to just say thank you and congratulate the Romulus Drug Task Force for a successful scholarship fundraising event, bowling. And this was our first annual, and we just want to thank everybody who came out to support it. All the funds are going to scholarships for our students here in Romulus. So just like to thank everybody who came out to support.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Number 10 is communication.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Cho?
I have a report I'd like to make from on Friday, May 9th, the headstone cleaning that took place at the Romulus Memorial Cemetery by the Board of Trustees, along with Sacred Spaces Restoration. The Cemetery Board of Trustees wish to thank the following individuals and organizations who assisted in the cleaning of the stones and the monuments and donated cleaning supplies, donated equipment, food for lunch, and money. Thanks to Andrea and Lori of Sacred Spaces Restoration. Sacred Spaces donated cleaning supplies, pails, and scrub brushes that they used in cleaning the monuments. And I have pictures over here of the before and the after, and you'd be surprised at how clean the monuments look in the after pictures. We'd also like to thank DPW workers for their help in delivery of equipment and porta-johns, and they set up the tent, and they brought in tables and a ladder for us to use. Jet's Pizza, and thanks to Chris Dunn for delivery of the pizza for lunch, and also thanks to Chris Dunn for mulch around the new trees. We thank Tim Keys for his assistance and keeping the group on track. Thanks to Mike Lakaska for taking pictures, for Dave Gorgon for putting articles together for the newspaper, and also thanks to the mayor and his staff and their assistance. Thanks to the young people from the Berkeley School District, and their picture is on there. Thanks to Joyce Renfro, who's a citizen who just happened to drive by and see us out there, and she stopped and gave us money. We have already deposited that in the cemetery fund. Thanks to citizens Margie Laginus and Sheldon Chandler also for helping. One of the monuments cleaned was for Reverend Samuel Bibbins, for whom the Bibbins Street was named. He was minister of the Community United Methodist Church in the 1800s. This is the second year that Sacred Spaces Restoration has volunteered their time and effort to cleaning the monuments in our cemetery, and they have already placed us on the schedule for next year. This has been a wonderful project that was so desperately needed in our historic cemetery. Our cemetery is 5 years older than the state of Michigan. The first recorded burial was 1832, and Michigan became a state in 1837. So there's a tremendous amount of history there, and we just appreciate all the help that we can get. And if anybody wants to give any more money, we need some more money. So if you have a family that wants to donate a few $1,000s, or we'll take any dollars we can get. So thank you very much for everyone who came out and helped.
Thank you, Ms. Choate, for the nice report.
Number 11 is warrant 14-09 for approval.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Choate.
I'd like to make a motion that we pay warrant 14-9 in the following amounts. For the general operating fund, $235,837.50. For the major street fund, $1,231.31. For the local street fund, $715.69. Merriman Road Special Assessment, $827.81. Sanitation Fund, $344. Narcotics Enforcement Fund, $3,525.11. Water and Sewer, $450,070.28. Motor Vehicle Fund, $3,207.29. Technology Services, $2,381.73. Retirees Insurance Benefits, $3,567.66. Payroll Fund, $6,596.55, for a grand total amount of $708,304.93.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Choate, supported by Ms. Makowski, to pay warrant number 14-09 for $708,304.93. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, warrant number 14-09 will be paid.
Number 12 is adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Makowski for adjournment. Mr. Wadsworth, Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we are adjourned. Thank you.